Damn, mic was off. Falcon fans, Falcon fans, Falcon fans.
Yo,
43,000 is in the building. One time for the fan. You already know what it is. You already know what it do. Your boy Jack
already.
Spade, Bodie 3000. We are back with another podcast talking Falcons football tonight. Pop-up show.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I guess we're going to do this. Episode 164. Feeling good, feeling great. Bodie 3000. Before we get started, we have a jam-packed show tonight. How are you doing, sir? Wait a minute. We just talked Falcons football 24 hours ago, and we're back.
Yeah, that's what we do. That's what we do.
That's what we do.
I'm great. I'm great. It was a great press conference. We're about to get into it. I'm great. Good day.
Falcon fans, hit that like, hit that share, hit that subscribe. You're on Facebook, head on over to YouTube. We want to make sure we have all our hashtag one-timers in the chat, hashtag the fan club in the chat. I guess the Super Bowl, what is this, like the fucking Olympics now? Like the Super Bowl opening games or something is happening right now. I guess the teams are walking in. What is this? What is happening here? Something's happening on NFL Network right now. I guess all the teams are on stage. I don't know what's going on here.
Oh, I'm watching the Lakers game.
Are you watching the? Oh, that's right. You're a Laker guy. You're watching the Laker game. But we have a jam-packed show tonight. So much to talk about here with the Atlanta Falcons. Why are we doing a pop-up show? But of course, Raheem Morris, the presser that we heard today. I'm guessing all Atlanta Falcon fans are excited about what Coach Morris has said to the fan base. And for those that do not know, there was a press conference. And then there was another small press conference for some of the Falcon fan base, which was about 30, 40 people in there in that small room, a little small, over there in Mercedes-Benz Stadium right after the press conference. But we do have a jam-packed show tonight. Some special guests that are here to talk Falcons football. I know they brought their notes. I know they're diehard Atlanta Falcons fans because I talk to these people on a regular, and I know how diehard of fans they are when it comes to the Falcons because they want to see the team win. They want to see this team reach the next level of success. And we all want to be marching down Peachtree, celebrating, drunk as fuck at the parade. So coming first to the podcast.
No, you gonna be the dude sweeping up at the parade. They got you Golden Broom Award for you.
Shit. Working for the city?
Shit, I guess so. Street sweeper.
That's tough. Up first to the podcast. Diehard Atlanta Falcon fan, this young brother right here. If he's not DJing inside the nightclubs, he's probably taking people's jobs in New Orleans. Dan has been a diehard Falcon fan for a long time. He's also a member of the Rise Up Tour. He travels a lot when it comes to the Atlanta Falcons. Doesn't matter if it's here in Atlanta when he's at home or, of course, when he's on the road. He did a great job DJing in Arizona last year with the Rise Up Tour and all the parties and everything that we put on with the Falcon fans, man. He is a diehard Atlanta Falcon fan. Plus, he went over there in New Orleans and did the same thing, too. Hell, he found a job in New Orleans, Bodie. I don't know anybody who goes out of town on vacation and finds a job for that weekend, but I'm sure he'll be able to explain it a little bit more here on the podcast. DJ Dan is in the building.
Yeah, Bodie, what's good? What's good?
Doing good, brother.
Dan,
how's everything on your end going, sir?
Can't complain, man. Just glad to be here, man. Glad to be here.
Dan, you've been on the podcast before. We had you for draft night last year. Was the last time when you was in the club. You was at where? The cigar bar, blue lounge, red lounge, orange. Where was you at?
Cigar bar on Panola. That's why I usually work.
Cigar bar on Panola. My man over here promote. Hey, cigar bar. Hey now. Big shout out to everybody over there at the cigar bar.
That man said pull up.
Hey, if we would have to do something over there, Bodie, one time for the fan in the cigar bar, let us know now. We'll pull up.
Nah, ain't you banned?
Make a statement.
Shit, the man said I'm banned. God, on Wednesday nights. Dan, we have a lot to go over here with the Atlanta Falcons. We got a couple more special guests we're going to get to. I know you have a lot to say. We've traveled together. We've watched Falcon games together. We already know how it is as a diehard Falcon fan. So let's go ahead and get to the next special guest that we have here. This young brother can talk Falcons football with you all day. Now, I don't know if we're going to call him Pastor Silas or we're going to call him Mr. Silas. But I tell you right now, this young brother was on the podcast with us last year too as well. So it's great to have him come back to the platform and talk Falcons football with us. Mr. Denatrus Silas is in the building.
What up, y'all? Mr. Pastor, it doesn't matter. They're all one and the same. Just glad to be back. And like I told you earlier, I'm definitely proud of the platform that you and Bodie 3K are building. So y'all keep up. Y'all keep growing. Y'all keep expanding, y'all.
Hey man, I definitely appreciate it.
Already. Thank you,
Um,
Seth.
you were on the podcast last year too as well, so it's glad to have you back. Happy New Year to both you and Dan. You guys also were a part of this new success with One Time for the Fan because we're all in this together. We're fans, you're fans. Dan, if you're gonna win next Sunday, I'm finna win next Sunday. D Money, if you win it next Sunday, I'm winning next Sunday. We're all in this together. Bodie, you know the same thing too as well. I mean, you're a Laker guy, but you know how it is.
We win. That's all we do is win. Don't hate.
Shit.
Come on now.
That's
17
tough.
banners didn't raise themselves, but we're not talking about that.
They just make banners over there in LA. Just getting out of hand. This next
No
young
comment.
brother coming to the podcast. Bodie, how do I say it? Was he one of the originators?
Yeah. He brought me here. Be real.
Boo Man hired Bodie, and then I fired Boo Man. I don't know how it works. Boo Man is one of them guys like we can roast and joke and talk Falcons football all day, and we can really John like for hours, man. But let me tell you something. This young brother right here, he's already doing the dab. I don't know what's going on over there. This Boo Man Shout is on the podcast tonight. So Falcon fans, Boo Man, how's everything going, man?
Everything is A1, man.
All right.
Everything
All right.
A1.
I know you
good time to be
good.
a Falcon fan, man.
I know you feeling good. I know you feeling great. You look like getting ready to go scam somebody over there off Metropolitan. What time the Marta start running?
Hey, man. Go Lakers, too, man.
Laker fans are here in the chat.
Yeah, we did.
Look,
Yeah,
y'all.
man.
We're going to go ahead and get straight to it because we ain't going to take up everybody's time tonight. People came here in the chat to talk Falcons football. Kenny C, Pamela Johnson, Red Swarm, False Start Falcon is here in the chat. Jeff Wolf is here in the chat. John Moreno is here in the chat. Eric Parker, who I spoke with for about an hour before this show started. Man, this shit is lit already tonight. Hit that like, hit that share, hit that subscribe. Tell your Falcons friends. Tell your Falcons family. Lario, we got a celebrity in the chat. Lario is here in the chat too as well. He's ready to come talk some Falcons football. Jeremiah Weems is here in the chat. Crimson Huntsman is back too as well. They are ready to talk some Falcons football. Going round table here, Falcons fans, because we heard a lot today from our new head coach, right? Matter of fact, let's just go to, matter of fact, Bodie, we'll go ahead and kick things off with you, man. Whoever wants to piggyback off of Bodie, please follow up with that. Bodie, what did you hear from Raheem Morris today that made you feel good as a fan?
I basically heard like I felt the energy. You know what I'm saying? Like he gonna bring a different type of energy to this team. Like I'm gonna be real. Arthur Smith didn't fit him vibes from Arthur Smith. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I heard that people like him. I heard that players like him, but you just gonna feel it. This is gonna bounce. It's gonna radiate off the walls when Coach Morris walked through the locker room. You know what I'm saying? Like they're gonna run through walls for this guy. I can feel it. I can feel it. I mean, it's infectious. The energy is just there, and he's definitely he sounds like he's learned his lesson. Of course, going that head coach's job. What people don't realize is that he was supposed to be John Gruden's D coordinator. Then they fired John Gruden, so they was like, "Oh, you the head coach now," and then he's like, "Oh shit, okay," and then he just didn't. He thought he knew everything. I know y'all heard it through the press conference. He said, "You think you know everything when you're 32 years old." He learned a lot. He learned a lot from this. I'm 33. I think I know everything. I know everything. Anyway,
shit. I mean, you told me a lot about the grout in the shower, but apparently the stuff that you brought over to use it didn't work. So now I got to call somebody else to do the job.
Yeah, and then when you came and cleaned tried to get the bugs out my house, it didn't work either. So I don't know what the fuck I need to do.
I told you anyway, I don't deal with rodents. I told you.
God, damn, you look like one. Anyway,
wow.
I'll be here all night. Anyway, it's gonna be it's just gonna be an infectious vibe. You know what I'm saying? I think the players are gonna love playing for him. His past players love playing for him. He's gonna bring a different energy here. He got young, vibrant coaches. it's just gonna be a fun atmosphere playing for the Atlanta Falcons. So I'm just ready for it, man. I'm excited.
Going around the table here, Dan, and then of course D Money and Boo Man. Before we get to you, Dan, I just want to throw in there that I learned something too as well. As you see, the title of this show is Glue. And Raheem Morris not in the press conference. We had another conference with some fans today, where he was able to talk to about 20 or 30 of us after the press conference, and he mentioned glue. Great leaders unite everywhere. He mentioned that. He stood by that. It's like he's standing on business. So Dan, I did learn a lot today from Raheem Morris, not only from the press conference, but from when he talked to us afterwards. But your thoughts, Dan, about this coaching staff, the press conference today, D Money and then Boo Man. Just y'all get your thoughts. Let's go, man. We're talking Falcons football.
All right. I'm gonna go with the coaching staff first. From the time, of course, new head coach gonna bring his people that he trusts the most in here, that he feels comfortable with, that he feels like he doesn't have to, nitpick and learn the coaches as well as the players, so he can double up on his job. So I think he did great with inviting some people from the Rams like Zach Robinson, and then
Jimmy Lake.
Yes, yep, Jimmy Lake. And Jimmy Lake is great. He has a great defensive background, and he has head coach experience. So he's like all around with the players. So
and it's announced he will call the plays too as well for defense.
There it is. So yeah, and it's like really it's like glue, pieces of glue, like you said. It's like pieces of glue. The last hire that he had that I recently saw was what's his name? Justin Hood from Green Bay. So he's reuniting with Jerry Gray. So they're going to be on, and he's going to be the secondaries coach. So they're going to be two peas in a pot. So it's like he's gluing everybody together, but then he has maybe one or two coaches that are from other teams that's just like, But at the end of the day, Raheem knows what he's doing. In the press conference, he pretty much owned the room. Yeah. Like it was a whole different energy than when Smith was here. Arthur Smith was here, and it's just like it was smiles and giggles everywhere. Like people was, hey, Raheem is here to make a difference. And one thing he kept saying is, I want my get back from 2016, 2017. He said that at least twice in a press conference.
Yeah, redemption is one of the words that he used today in the press conference too, as well. Those are some of the things that stood out to me. But Mr. Salas, I'm sure when you heard Raheem speak today, when you saw the interview, if you kind of like really focus on Raheem when he says certain words and he talks about this team, you can see his face and his demeanor started to change. It was like, I'm finna take your cookies, cuz, you know what I'm saying? Like it was on some, we finna strong arm this shit. You saw him smiling and joking with Terry too as well, but then he might go off and say, yeah, and these guys gotta have determination, these guys gotta have the grit, and you heard that. And I mean, people's gonna say, well, it's just a press conference. We heard it from Arthur Smith and Dan Quinn. I got a little bit different from Raheem today. I felt like with what Dan said and what Bodie's saying, I'm feeling that energy. I'm feeling a different type of vibe to where he mentioned how he was jealous of Les Snead's relationship with Sean McKay. He wants to win. He saw that when he first got to the Rams organization, and then he started to win, and then you can kind of see what led from there. But Mrs. Ellis, what did you see as a Falcon fan? Because you've been talking Falcons football for a long time, brother.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I don't want to sound like a broken record, but it was definitely not less of what he said, but how he said it. Like y'all were mentioning. I mean, even what even with how he incorporated everybody in the room into his responses. I mean, like y'all said, he owned the room. I mean, he shouted out his son. He brought in his brother-in-law to the speech. He gave a shout out to DJ Shockley in the back, right? It was an enigmatic presser, but that's why it felt different. It felt different because he pulled everyone in. So he literally owned that room. But not only that, like y'all said, he said all the right things, but he said them in the right way. And it didn't come off as bull crap. The way he said it, it sounded genuine. It was authentic. You can tell that 2016 still burns him. And he left. And not only 2016 burns him, another thing that I think that drives him is all his failures. He doesn't see his failures as a failing. He saw them as opportunities to grow. He saw them as opportunities to create. He saw them as opportunities to develop. I mean, and that's what you look for in a leader. That's what you look for when you build in a staff. And another thing that he said that kind of stuck out to me as something that I look to when I'm building things is, when I'm building an organization, one thing that I always say is I never want to be the smartest person in this room. If I'm the smartest person in this room, I'm the smartest person on my team. That means I can only live and rely upon me. But when you put other building blocks around you that not even has as much football acumen, but like he even brought in like the business acumen of Arthur Blank. And folks can say what they want to say about Arthur Blank, but you can't. This dude took selling screwdrivers and plywood to make billions out of it, right? So from a business standpoint, he knows what the heck he's talking about, right? The new president that grew from being an intern to being the team president, right? He saw his work ethic and seeing that walking past him in the hallway and not knowing who he was, but now he reports to him. You get what I'm saying? It's that type of feel that they brought in, and you can just, the atmosphere is just different. You really can't. It's so many intangibles. I mean, you can call out all the individual things. You can call out the specific sound bites that he pulled out, like the whole it's a mentality before it becomes a reality, right? I mean, if I was into tattoos, I'd definitely get that, right? that joint was live, yo. I mean, so it's very rare that I've looked at a presser for a head coach and it's been this much of a draw, specifically for our fan base, right? I think people were like salivating for this. When Coach Arthur came, we wanted what he did in Tennessee from an offensive standpoint. We saw that, but I don't think anybody really wanted to hear him talk. I ain't trying to be funny. I mean, we knew what he was able to build in Tennessee. We knew what he was able to do with Derrick Henry. We knew what he was able to do with Tannehill there, right? We knew what he came with, but none of us was waiting to hear him speak. And what I'm liking about this is the possibility and the probability of tamping down some of that other satellite talk that we have around our team with the Vic, with the Justin Fields, with the Matt Ryan sucks, with all of this other stuff. Now I think we have a focal point that can draw all of these different Falcon fan base factions together, and we can agree upon one thing: we got a hell of a good coach.
We damn sure do. Chase, welcome to One Time for the Fan. I know you had some stuff to take care of earlier. Dirty Fanatics United did go live. We're just talking about the presser today and just going over some stuff with Raheem and the coaching staff. Boo Man, going to you. You heard Bodie, you heard Dan, you heard Pastor Salas here. Boo Man, we don't have no change, so don't try to sell us nothing. But just want to go quickly over not only what Denatrus was saying about Raheem Morris, but some of the things I heard today, calling Atlanta home constantly. He kept saying home. Feels good to be home. Home.
It feels like he's home. The whole hire feels right.
It feels
watching
right.
The interview, watching the press, you can see why he wowed everybody when he got the job. You can tell. I was sold in the first 5 minutes. The first thing I noticed is, I just felt like he's right. The second thing I noticed, he used too much starch on his pants.
Shit.
That's an Atlanta thing, though.
My man watching the podcast right now, like, no, you finna talk shit right now.
Damn pants stand up on their own, don't they?
But he got an old soul. But
I ain't gonna lie, he was sitting down. I was like, bro, you good up there, right here?
That brother. That damn blazer was tight too.
He had that fresh brute on.
Not that D&K.
But it just feels right. It feels like the right hire. If you look back at all the the candidates and all the coaches, Raheem feels right. And you want his get back. What he was a part of. That interim coach don't count. He brought that up. He's the first black coach for the Falcons without the interim in it now. You know what I'm saying? So. And then, like you said, we're gonna be all right, and first thing he's looking forward to is who? Bijan and Drake London. Right? You know what I'm saying?
Drake London. He did mention Bijan. For Tyreek Johnson, you didn't hear it because he mentioned this in the fan press conference, but he did mention Kyle Pitts about getting Kyle Pitts involved too as well. I mentioned that in the chat with Eric Parker.
Don't take too much. Don't take too much into that. Him not mentioning Pitts in the big pressure. Okay, it's not a. He can't mention everybody great. We got more than just those two great players.
He did light up when he said the roster, though. He did light up when he said the players. He mentioned Jesse Bates multiple times. I don't know if it was. I'm sorry if I'm a little bit throwed here. I saw the press conference in the back room, and then he came back there to talk to the fans. So I might be throwing both conferences out here, but he did mention Jesse Bates a few times when I heard him talking too as well. He mentioned Zach Robinson reminds him of a young Kyle Shanahan when he first got his chance too as well.
I like the Zach Robinson pickup, man. I'm more wild about that pickup than I thought. I told Bo this a week ago. I looked into it, and before we hired him, it was a guy who covers the Rams. I was watching him on YouTube. He was like, Zach Robinson would have been a head coach candidate, in the next year. So we gotta respect and admire what we have right now because he's in the ground running. So he's gonna show everybody this year how you should use prolific Falcons offense. So I'm excited for the pieces we have. We have a great line. We have a receiver. We have a great running backs. And then we're missing. I miss a receiver and a quarterback. So I think Zach Robinson is gonna. Look what they did with Matt Stafford. Look what they did Puka Nacua. Just look at what they did with Kyron Williams. These are all late picks that they turned into superstars in 1 year. So I'm excited for what's coming for the Falcons.
Chase, so welcome to the chat once again, man. I'm glad you're here because you did talk about some of this stuff on Dirty Fanatics United too. But Silas, you mentioned about the names that he's worked with in the past. He mentioned Sean McVay. He mentioned people like Mike Tomlin. He mentioned Rich McKay hired him 3 times. He wanted to come back here, and this is one thing that's big for Falcon fans: redemption. When he keep talking about that 2016, he talked about it a couple times in both rooms, and then he mentioned he wanted to come back here to rewrite history for the Falcons. That was big to me because it's like, man, you really giving it your all when it comes to Atlanta here. Not only did you want to be a head coach, but you wanted to be in the city where you wanted to be. It's like some coaches feel out of place when they go to certain cities. It's just a job. For Raheem, this man is really calling Atlanta home for a real reason, Chase. And getting to you about what you think about Coach's presser today. He said this too as well when he was talking to the fans. He was waiting for Terry to call. He was going over the plan about how to adjust the Falcons during the first interview and the second one. He was just waiting for the callback from the Falcons because he was ready to get the ground running. As soon as Terry says, let's go. The joke that he said in the meeting with the fans was the Wi-Fi was bad in LA and Terry couldn't call and all this stuff. It was a funny joke in the room. But he was waiting for that moment for Terry and the organization to call and say, it's your job. So, Chase, when you're hearing these type of things from Raheem and you're seeing the presser today, how are you going about this as a fan?
Man, as a fan, I'm excited, bro. Raheem Morris's 1 hour press conference is better than any Arthur Smith press conference that I've ever watched.
Shit. The one with Pat McAfee? Which one are you talking about? He did. Raheem shit about Pat McAfee today.
Raheem Morris brings this culture to Atlanta that we've needed pretty badly for the past 3 years. It just seems to fit with the new young picks that we have. This is a guy that's bringing his own people, and he's got a lot of trust in Zach Robinson, Jimmy Lake, people that he can fall back on. He talked about, letting them run the offense. Jimmy Lake, believing in Jimmy Lake, letting him run the defense. This is a coach that's coming in to be the head coach of the Atlanta Falcons. He doesn't have this extra weight on his shoulders about trying to make sure a defense is running well or the offense is running right, and still working the time clock because the time clock alone is a lot to do for a head coach. Raheem Morris brings just energy, man. Like I said, he won me over in a 1 hour press conference, bro. I haven't seen him coach a head coach football game in the NFL yet, and I'm already in love with him. The players respecting. He spoke a little bit about players reaching out, giving him his respect. How cool that was of just the type of mentor Raheem Morris is, and I think that's going to win over that locker room. Matt Ryan spoke on it a little bit and said that Raheem Morris is just a guy that he's seen run every aspect of the coaching process that there is, coaching receivers, calling defensive back plays, running the defense, helping out with the quarterbacks. He said Raheem Morris has done it all, and now he's a head coach, something that's been long past due. So for high stature like Matt Ryan to say that, big Matt Ryan guy here, so definitely let me know along that Raheem Morris is a guy that's a player guy, but he's also a guy that's there for the business. Y'all talked about it here. 2016, he spoke about it a good bit. That made me feel good as a fan. Like, this guy's coming back. He's here to redeem, and he just sticks his chest out and he says, we're the team. Why not us? We're going to the fucking playoffs. And if you don't like it, get out the way, because Raheem Morris is the real deal.
Mentioning playoffs a couple times today too as well with the fans. He mentioned, and he took me back at this moment, because matter of fact, let me see this shit. Hold on a second here. I want people to see what's going on, because people's gonna be like, we didn't get a chance to see that. I got y'all right here, Falcon fans. Hold on.
Put it on.
Hold on. Y'all see that right there?
Yep.
So this is the room that we were in after the press conference. That's Dave Archer. That's Terry on the right, and that's Raheem Morris. And the room is not packed. As you can see, I'm in the front row. So getting the opportunity to talk at this moment to them was very easy. Raheem looking over to me yelling out, different stuff. Terry talking right now too as well. I won't play what he said due to the Facebook shit or whatever YouTube shit. But at this moment right here, they are talking about the roster, and they're talking about how they want to go forward and how they want to get some things going. And they also mentioned something very important. Raheem said he does not feel pressure at all from Terry or anybody in the building. He has full support. Also, Terry mentioning, to compliment Raheem, Terry does not have to be involved in any one of those interviews that was for the coordinators. That was a Raheem thing. So if Raheem called Terry and said, hey, I got an interview with X, Y, and Z tomorrow, Terry trusts Raheem to go do his job. That's under his list of what he needs to do. So Terry didn't have to be there. So the Zach Robinson move, I'm guessing that's why it came so quick after Raheem Morris was hired. Like, Zach Robinson targeted to the Falcons. Where did this come from before he was hired? Because Raheem probably put it out there that this is the guy that I want to be a candidate.
His pitch. That was his pitch in his interview.
He got his guy. Going around the table here now, because we got to talk some draft. We have to talk a little bit more about the press conference.
Real quick, before we get there, I just wanted folks to notice, like, if y'all notice when everybody asked him questions in the presser, he said back their first name. Well, Diane. Well, whatever. Like, that's a small trait that people didn't even really pick up like that. That's how you gain respect with people. You saying my name back to me as I ask you a question like that. People respect that from people. Like, that just tells me that he's been raised up right, and he knows how to treat people. And I see why he's such a loved person around the league. Like, that's big deal. Like, that's some big shit right there. So, shout out to him. That man has a character about him, and people love it. So that's a big deal.
The cool thing about this moment being in this room with Terry and Raheem and Dave and everybody, and you got some minority owners from the Falcons and everybody else, some big name folks in the building. Not too many people was recording and everything, and I don't want to say too much of what was going on in the building. But when I looked around for some of these answers that they were giving back, I don't want to give away their formula of what they're getting ready to do. But that room was different than the press conference room because the media was not in that room. So some of the things that
you got some exclusive X and O's in that motherfucker.
Because I want to go ahead and give, because the compliment he gave about Matt Ryan is big, because fans won't be able to hear that. He said that Matt Ryan made fans comfortable when we were not comfortable. Fans need to hear that, because that is the fucking truth. And he's telling you this as a head coach, but you wouldn't hear that because he didn't say that in the press conference. But that stuck out to me, because I'm sitting there like, that is so true. That Matt Ryan did make us feel comfortable when we were not comfortable, because we were talking about quarterbacks at that moment. So he went over Stafford and Matt Ryan, and I'm thinking about Raheem Morris and where he came from. I'm thinking, man, they're finna go get a quarterback. They really want to go look into a quarterback, But we'll get to that in just a little bit, because draft is coming up, free agency is coming up. Chat is lit, chat is live, and we need to go back around this table here. Let's see, man. Let's go straight to the draft, man, because everybody's gonna be talking about it. Dan, following up by Mr. Solace, and then we're going around with Boom Man, Chase, and Bodie. Going through the draft, Dan. so many scenarios out there. You're in the chat with Boom Man and I. We talk about this all the time. What are you looking at, Dan, when it comes to the draft?
For me, the draft, I say, like I said, this is a new age with Raheem Morris. So it's a new start. It's a new fire. It's a new spark. If you want who you want, now is the time to be aggressive, to go get what you want when you want it. Be smart about it. Of course, with Terry being smart, Terry's actually been great through the last 2-3 drafts. Mm-hmm. So I'm not worried about that. But now's the time. Now's the time. Start right here. Don't wait till 2-3 years in and then, I should have. It's too late now. Go do what you have to do to get us in a position that we need to get so you can get your redemption. Mm-hmm. That's what I have to say.
God, I want to say what was said, but I can't say what was said. But Mr. Silas, what you got going on with this draft? You hear Dan, fans in the chat will agree because of the quarterback situation right now. I don't know if you've caught what we said here recently, Mr. Silas, on the podcast, but you don't have too many options available, bro. Mm-mm. Outside of Russell Wilson, Barn was going to happen with Denver, possibly Justin Fields March 1st. Kirk Cousins, he done already threw out ridiculous numbers. I think he was still in the hospital bed calling them numbers out. He might have been gambling. I don't know. But then you go look at Ryan Tannehill, Gardner Minshew, Jameis Winston. The list, I see you shaking your head. It's getting bad. The list is even way worse than that. You might want to get up and walk out the fucking room. So
anything after Kirk Cousins is bad.
Anything after Kirk Cousins is a wash.
Pastor Silas, it's on you, man. What you got, man?
Yeah, anything after Kirk Cousins is a wash. I mean, in my opinion, and definitely I heard all the cues about, and it makes sense. I mean, I think the world knows that we need a quarterback. Mm-hmm. And I'll say, like Dan said, and I definitely don't think that they're going to come in with this mentality of we got time. I mean, one thing that he said, and it was subtle but not so subtle. He said that when they were asking about the pressure to win, and Mr. Blank wants to, think this is a team that can win now and get into the playoffs now and contend now. And he said that. He was like, this job comes with pressure, and it's a pressure that everybody in this room can handle. Yeah. And when he said that, I mean, that's obvious. I mean, that's unstated. Everybody's goal and objective. They might get in front of the TV cameras and tone it back and scale it back to say what's PC. But I don't think any competitive organization outside of, the Charlotte Hornets in some respect come in with the mindset of tanking or not doing something that they need to do, right? It's either championship or bust, playoff or bust. I mean, that's kind of the goal to go for. But from a draft perspective, I mean, like y'all said, I mean, it free agency ain't gonna get us where we need to go. There isn't much there, and I think, Jack, if anybody knows how I feel about Justin Fields, it's you. Mm-hmm. I think it's. I mean, I might hurt some. I might get the chat of later when I say this, though, but I don't think he's worth the hype, at least right now, from what he's produced, to say that let's go trade for him, because what's the demand for him, I don't want to give up for him because it's too much hype and too much pomp and circumstance around him, and he's going to do what he's supposed to do. He's going to capitalize on it. I mean, that's what I would do if I was in that position. If the hype is high around me, I'm going to tell my agent, go get me the bag. And Chicago's going to say, give me some draft picks, and y'all going to give him the bag. He hasn't done that yet. I haven't seen that. Mm-hmm. I mean, I get it. I know we got some Georgia fans on the call too, but there's a reason why he ended up at Ohio State. And that's all. I'm going to leave it at that. I mean, if he was that guy, Kirby would have made him that guy. I don't think Kirby is the dude that we've had in previous years, or that's been had at Georgia in previous years. I mean, there's a reason for everything. Mm-hmm. And so with that being stated, definitely, I mean, if you can get a Kirk Cousins at a reasonable price to come in and maybe mentor, because he is old. I mean, just keep it real. I'm old, so I can call him old.
Shit, I mean, 35 coming off an Achilles injury and wants more than $75 million. I'm taking
exactly. Then that ain't reasonable. That's what I'm saying. Mm-hmm. If he can, maybe he was, like you were saying, maybe that morphine was good in his system that day.
Shit.
Something. So maybe if he comes down off that morphine high and comes back down to reality, Cam Johnson just said something. Russell Wilson. I mean, if it's a mentor role for a draft pick that we're high on, that we can go towards, that we can build around, sure. If it's a dude that we can put in and pinch, get us across a bridge or a bridge a gap for us while he's mentoring and scaling up that other individual, yes. But
I ain't on the mentor shit. I'm on my way down. I ain't gonna lie. I'm not.
I'm with you, Doc. That's why I capped that off with an if.
Yeah, I know why Kirk Cousins asked for money because he sat back and watched what happened in the NFL.
Yeah.
Yep.
With him out, he's still top 10.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I'm
top
not
5.
big on Kirk Cousins because he's. I mean, gave him Justin Jefferson. I seen Mullins throw him 160 yards. So I mean, but I'm gonna say this about Justin Fields. I'm not big on him, but I'm not off him. You watch what Baker Mayfield did in 1 year in Tampa, change his scenery.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and he would 28-10 on touchdowns and interceptions.
Yeah,
because they put him in a position where all they needed was a quarterback. You know, they put him in a position where you play to his strengths. Of course, he's gonna do some things that you don't like. But we're at a position where anything's better than what we had, and where our pick is, we're gonna have to give up something for something.
Yep.
Yeah.
You give up a lot, you're gonna move up. You're gonna give up a lot. I just want to throw in there that Justin Fields' roster with the Falcons would be 10 times better than what he had with the Bears.
Come on now.
Yeah.
Who was our O coordinator last year?
Steve Harvey. Steve Harvey.
Where he come from?
You said Steve Harvey. You talking about Caterpillar Lip?
I told Bo this. I said I didn't even know who our offensive coordinator was.
Oh, you talking about the Bears? Ragone.
So the Bears.
Yeah.
I mean, what good quarterback?
He came from the Bears.
Chicago?
Mm-hmm.
Nobody ever.
Chicago ain't been good since Rex Grossman. So I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Never had some random.
And he wasn't good.
So it's we're at a position right now where I'm not going to take Justin Fields out only because his age, and you can play him for a year without paying him.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I don't think you're going to give up too much for him because of what his record is, because of what happened. You know, so if you're going to give up, you're not giving up no first for him. If they ask for a first,
in my opinion, you ask for a first.
If
they ask for a first.
Literally based on right, they'll ask for them from us because they know they got our balls in a vice grip, bro.
So let's to piggyback off that. The Bears have all these NFL teams' balls in the vice grip right now. They control the NFL because
I told you that.
Number one,
I said they control the future of the NFL right now.
What they can do at trading this pick, and then Tom Pelissero talking about trading back up after they trade the one pick, and then having all that collateral from if they trade Fields and still get their guy sitting at 9.
Does Chicago even go away from Fields? Does Chicago not build around Fields?
Well, Chase, this goes to you, and then Bodie too as well. My option of getting a Jaden Daniels or the guy you want, you need Fields to stay in Chicago, so maybe the Bears look elsewhere in the draft.
Right.
You need Washington at 2 to get a Russell Wilson, so that way you can probably slide up. You need the Patriots at 3 to maybe even look at Kirk Cousins. But if 1, 2, and 3 is talking rookie, and you calling 404 is calling draft day, they ain't answering.
Yeah,
if they answering, you selling the franchise, how much was the stadium? We want half of that.
I agree. I just think that people know that where Atlanta is.
Yeah, they know Atlanta needs a quarterback.
What they're one player away from.
Yeah,
they're going to try to, and I think Jacksonville hating by not signing Calvin Ridley because they know we're gonna use that pick to get a quarterback or package it.
Oh, no doubt. Yeah, that's how you're gonna trade out. Yeah,
and they and now they got Neeson over there. You know what I'm saying? So he know what the situation is. You know, so it's like, what do we do? We've been in this situation for 3 years. We're in a messed up situation, in a messed up spot. 8 is bad because you're really getting the runts of the greats.
I don't know about that.
When you get outside of 5.
Not the spicy.
I don't know about that.
It's
all about team needs between 2 and 7 too. I mean,
but if you look at the draft, order. If we're 8 out of the 8 teams, 4 of them need a quarterback.
We're getting the runs of the quarterbacks. Yeah, that's what we're getting
right now.
We need the ass end of the quarterback.
Before we get to Jason and Bodie, you're looking at the top 3 teams possibly need a quarterback, and don't forget, like you said, Salas, outside of Tannehill or Cousins, that shit is ass. You started shaking your head when I started naming Tannehill. That shit is bad this year when it comes to how many quarterbacks are available. And who do we want to be the starter here in Atlanta? And Dan, you said you got to be aggressive. But the problem is, like I always look at it right now at the Falcons, if you get asked out in free agency and you can't get up in the top 3, who are you settling for? Because we want Daniels, we want some Caleb Williams or some Drake May. Ain't nobody out here calling for JJ McCarthy in Atlanta. Nobody's calling for Bo Nix in Atlanta.
No.
Nobody's calling for Sam Darnold in Atlanta.
Y'all
So the
forgot about
biggest
that, man.
names that you're hearing, the Falcons have to be aggressive to get. Chase, your thoughts on the draft?
Washington had a quarterback. Y'all remember that, right?
Say again?
I'm not buying with Harbaugh.
University of Washington had a quarterback that actually played for the national championship, and he actually did well.
I was big on that, Silas. I have him out of my top 10 right now. I have him.
Look, I saw him fold like a cheap tent when pressure came in his face. I saw him throwing it. He was throwing it.
Dan, what I text you the night of the championship?
So
I said he's off my list.
A far superior defensive line is up against him. He folds. But Justin Fields playing with NFL talent at offensive line, and we just touted against his offensive line, and we're going to give him a pass because his offensive line was crap.
I don't give him no pass.
Michigan.
Check in.
Let's look at this like 2 years. Have me back on, Jack, and we'll see.
Hey, man, it's going down. Eric Parker said, "Breathe."
Chicago, man.
Chase, your thoughts about the draft scenarios that you're looking at, things that because I know yesterday's conversation is different than today. And by Friday, it's going to be totally different, too, because you might hear some news, change some things around. Because what I told Bodie, about the draft last year. We was heavy on Carter. April 1st, you woke up that morning and chose Bijan. You chose violence in the chat, and it's been crazy since that day. Chase, your thoughts on just the draft, about what you've been hearing, thoughts that, what could we move up, trade back? What do you want, Chase? What is Dirty Fanatics United talking about?
What they saying in Baxley, man?
Shit, not Baxley. They're Ballad Boys.
You get that pound straw laid out, man. Get my pound straw.
Pound straw.
No, man. Just as a Falcon fan, man, I want the future. I want somebody that's gonna come in and I want that top rookie. I want that guy that's got the big name, the hype around him. Like you said, if we're really just that team away from one person, a quarterback, then if you bring in that top talented rookie, we've seen it with C.J. Stroud. You bring in that top guy. Maybe he beats, maybe he rocks it out and he is another C.J. Stroud. It's a hit or miss either way you really look at it. You go the vet route, but vets don't always pan out as well. So it's really a hit or miss, and you got to really look at how you want to do this. Do you want to take the chance on a guy for 2 to 3 years? Or do you want to take the chance of, hey, let's compete for 3 years with this young cat. Maybe he gets it right the 4th year. Maybe we get the ring in 4 years. You got a young guy coming off of a rookie contract. He gets the big payday. We win the Super Bowl. You know what I'm saying? I want the young guy. I want somebody that we can build around, really get a dominant defense in here, maybe get some more safeties, hit on the quarterback spot in the draft. But if you're going to do so, you're going to have to be very aggressive. And I would say you're going to definitely have traded to that spot before draft day comes, if that's your plan. I don't know what you're giving away. Maybe you will have to part ways with an A.J. Terrell, a Kyle Pitts, and some draft picks. It's the way the NFL works. If you're going for the future, if you're really keyed in on this guy, you've seen it in the past with Julio Jones, humongous trade. You've seen it with Matt Ryan. I mean, there's players that you go in all for, but I mean, it's really according to what Raheem and these guys want to do. I don't know if that's what they're going to run with, but I would be definitely cool with a rookie.
I got a question. I do got a big question though.
Go ahead.
Has anybody been thinking about Jordan Travis?
Who?
Jordan Travis.
Jordan Travis.
Oh, from
Florida State quarterback.
FSU. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
major injury,
FSU players in here.
I mean, but without the injury, you'd be talking.
Yeah, he's no doubt.
That's another one. Yeah, that's another one.
Anybody ever mentioned Jack Spade? He went to University of
University of Trash Bag.
University of Georgia Perimeter.
Shit.
But I mean, I'm just throwing the question out there because
that's the curveball. I think the Falcons can go a different route where fans are going to say, "Why did you draft this guy? Why did you draft this guy?" I think for Falcon fans, because of the coaching hire and what's going on, we kind of look and see what could happen here with the names that we've been throwing out. That's why Pamela Johnson hasn't been mentioning Bo Nix, or Bodie has been mentioning Spencer Rattler, or Dan has been mentioning the kid from Texas. Because we don't have them in our projection. What we're looking at number 8 with the cap room that we have, $30 million, trying to get to about 40, 50. But if you're looking at, of course, what you have to give up when it comes to trade value and everything, the quarterback issue is very big. You're going to trade up and draft a guy. I will say that trades was mentioned. I don't know if anybody caught it, but trades was mentioned from Terry about 5 or 6 times today. So I don't know if that's something important to look at too as well, that a trade-heavy guy mentioned trades about 5 or 6 times today. He traded for Brian Edwards in the past, that Dean Marlowe move, the G.L.U.E Smith move, the Jeff Okudah move too as well. Moving up, I believe they moved up to get Arnold WKD too in the late rounds, in the second round too as well recently, right? Troy Anderson moved up for too as well.
I want to talk about that.
So, I mean, we're going over a lot here, but Bodie, before we get to Dan and go around the table for our last topic here for the night, your thoughts, Bodie, on looking at the draft, because every day is different, brother.
Yeah, draft is gonna be tricky. Like you said, the Bears got the league in by the balls right now. Like we got to see which way they're gonna sway. We got to see if they're gonna decide to trade Justin early. They're gonna wait till we don't know. Like that's the thing right now. But what I will say is, I mean, we got to look at all the options, and I see a lot of folks throwing up in their mouth. But Justin Fields is an option. Freaking even the vets are an option. I doubt they. I doubt that the coach will bring in a Tannehill and hang his hat on that or something like that. I doubt that. You know,
get a
I
new
mean,
head coach to go get Tannehill. That's not the move. No, you
hell
just lost
no.
the fan base.
So,
you won the fan base. You just lost the fan.
No more of that Tennessee shit, man.
Shit,
No,
not the Atlanta Tennessee
that
Bears.
shit ain't working. But my thing is, I mean, with the draft, yeah, it's hard to tell about the draft. I mean, we can speculate, but we got to see. It really counts on the Bears. Like, are they going to select Caleb Williams? Are they going to trade Fields? Are they going to keep Fields and keep on moving? You know, try to get up there to that pick. That pick, I say, if they are moving the pick, you give them whatever the fuck they want, damn near. Like you give them what they want. I mean, we the time is now to get there, get where we want to get. But of course, it can't be ridiculousness like Bijan or friggin'
you can't stay with
AJ
one.
Terrell.
I'm not. Yeah,
Take your
please
quarterback
don't.
away, then give away everything else.
I only
Yeah,
mentioned
you ain't finna give up our corner.
I only mentioned
But
AJ
only-
Terrell because he's on that end of his contract.
No, they said.
I was about to say that.
You're not the first one to say it. Trust me.
I was about to say that.
Terrell and
I was about to say that. That's why, because you got to pay AJ Terrell, and this draft is stupid deep. It's stupid deep at corner. It's stupid deep at receiver. It's stupid deep all the way around. So, like I said, they're gonna draw up a plan for this draft. It could go either way. We need a goddamn pass rusher. We need a quarterback first. We need a goddamn pass rusher. We need corners.
I'm not gonna lie. I mean, my one B is receiver. Drake London's out there.
We do need a receiver. We got it.
Yeah, and they mess around and get a
fall with the quarterback though.
And that's some wild card stuff. They might mess around and get Roma Dunze.
Probably gonna break out again.
That's another question. I mean, it's a lot of questions with the draft, but all I know is we got to be open to all the quarterback situations because we might be asked out. Can't get the top 3 quarterback rookies.
Might be,
and we're gonna have to. It's gonna have to be a Fields. I'd rather try out Fields because he's young. Like Boo Man said, he's young. And I mean, even you saw damn Baker Mayfield have a late resurgence because he had an actual damn OC who knows how to call plays. You know what I'm saying? And somebody in the chat, Hucklebuck, he said, yeah, the Bears were a dumpster fire. They had all kind of, they don't know what the fuck they're doing.
First year with Nagy, second year
they
blew it up. Mooney was
they got rid of the whole line.
It's terrible.
When they got rid of the whole line, it's just like, come on.
And we fucked up getting Dave Ragone over here to call plays. Well, he didn't even call plays. I don't know what he was doing. Maybe he brought Arthur Smith coffee or something. What's his real job?
That's tough.
Still with the team.
All I feel about Justin Fields, if you can't if we're saying that because of the situation he's in, that you can't properly assess him. If you can't properly assess him because of the situation, you should take that in consideration when trade talks and stuff like that comes up. If you can't make a good assumption, a fair assumption, then you truly don't know what he's worth. So damn sure don't overpay.
You damn sure ain't worth it first.
That seems to be the move that the Bears are kind of looking at because if you let Justin Fields stay and he balls out, he's going to tax you for even 3 times the amount the year after. So it's kind of like the Bears are.
If he balls out, then don't we win that?
If he stays with Chicago, then the Bears are looking at what are we going to do with this guy?
Chicago got a first again next year.
Yeah.
Yes. Technically, we're saying this is all Carolina's fault. I mean, that's just
shit.
Yeah,
Carolina's
goddamn Carolina. Stay messing stuff up.
One thing too is what to look at, and I have to keep putting this out there because the Bears. I mean, if we're looking at the field situation, the Commanders, possibly the Patriots, the Giants on what they're going to do with Daniel Jones for next year. The Tennessee Titans as well with Malik Willis with having no mentor over there too as well to mentor the young kid. The quarterback list is very slim. Mike Tomlin, shit, that was crazy, buddy. Mike Tomlin even mentioning that he wants to bring somebody in to challenge Kenny Pickett. Aaron Rodgers' situation in New York, knowing that Zach Wilson was benched and the other backup was benched. What are the Jets going to do behind Aaron Rodgers? He's coming to the end of his career. Deshaun Watson in Cleveland too as well. About it's some things you got to look at some of these teams. The Vikings talking about they want to get up into this top 10. The Raiders mentioning that they want to get up into the top 10. There are teams that need quarterbacks, and the list is very slim. So it's very important that Falcons.
Matter of fact, the Steelers don't want the quarterback that they have. We'll take him. They can keep Pickett.
I mean, Pickett coming back and then the whole, competing against Mason Rudolph, and Rudolph leads the way going for the rest of the season. And Tomlin's comments. This is some things to look at.
Garbage.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Some things to look at. But Mac Jones is not a player to look at. Zach Wilson is not a man. That's crazy. Man. Zach Wilson is not a player to look at. But as we go over some of these free agents, because there are going to be some free agents available. People are talking about CP. What's up, Boo Man?
I'm only when it comes to quarterback, I'm only looking at it's Kirk Cousins or bust when it comes to the free agency quarterbacks. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, like you said, after that, it gets it. We're going in. It's getting bad. And then these guys who's gonna want money. Mm-hmm. Kirk Cousins, if he asks for too much, I don't want him. I'm not gonna lie. He's definitely a good quarterback, but he's definitely a good quarterback that gets hurt a lot.
Going into free agency. This is the thing I got to look at. This is the last subject for tonight as we get ready to wrap this up. We'll go around the table with Dan, Pastor Salas, Boom Man, Bodie, Chase. You're at $30 million in cap space. And these were some of these decisions that are going to have to plan out. Unless something wild or ridiculous happens, I don't see you getting to 60 million or 70 million or 80 million. It's not happening. You're going to cut a couple guys and get around close to 44, maybe 50, maybe. Yeah. Then you got to go back and restructure if you want to keep, the Pitt situation and the AJ Terrell situation. You might have to, take some things off of Jake Matthews because he's coming to the end of his career with some restructuring. But you got to get a pass rusher, man. If you're not getting him in the draft, this ain't no 3rd or 4th round pass rusher either. I love what Arnold Ebikete's been doing. That's great. Campbell with 6-something plus sacks. We don't know if he's coming back. That's great. But we need a fucking pass rusher. There are some guys who are available this offseason. And they are asking for a little bit, probably less than $20 million. That's where I see my money going with the Falcons, because you haven't had a solidified pass rusher here in the past couple of years. The Dallas Turner at 8 from NFL Network and CBS Sports keeps throwing me off, because if you're going Dallas Turner at 8, that means you did something in the free agency to go get your quarterback. You did something, because obviously you're not going to go get Dallas Turner at 8 and do with the draft and the free agency and not have a quarterback. I would think that you did something, so you kept the 8th pick to get Dallas Turner, who I must say, I ain't no Bama fan, but that boy Dallas Turner lights out. He gets after it. Yeah, that boy good. That boy good. But as we go over this free agency list here, going around the table here, Dan, any names that stood out to you? Any position groups that you want to see the Falcons attack in free agency? You got a little bit of money in your pocket, Dan. Where are you spending it?
I'm gonna go back to the pass rusher discussion from the beginning. How people want us to, a lot of fans do want us to do a pass rusher at 8, but history has it that a lot of times pass rushers are just as hard to come by in the draft as quarterbacks. It's not easy.
Not another Vic Beasley.
What's the last pass rusher we got at 8? Say it. Go say it. Go say it.
I know it was Jamal. No, it wasn't Tack. Tack was later. It was Jamal Anderson, right?
Jamal Anderson.
Yes, I thought Tack was at 8. He went at 8.
Tack was later in the draft.
24.
We passed over fucking TJ Watt to get Tack, to do it for his grandma.
Damn.
But yeah,
he didn't do his grandma justice.
Yes, God.
I'm sorry.
Beasley was at 8, I believe.
If we gonna pay,
was definitely at 8.
What you got there?
If we gonna pay for somebody that's already proven at edge rusher.
Daniel Hunter.
You have second-year Ebiketie, who people still refuse to acknowledge. Second year, he has 6 sacks this year, 6.5 sacks this year. You have a first-year Zach Harrison, who blew the tires off the wheels at the end of the season, came up with 3 sacks. So he's finna be a beast. So we probably have 2 edge rushers already within the next 2 years is going to be top dominant.
You haven't even unleashed D'Angelo Malone yet to see what they're going to do.
I hope so.
You Western Kentucky sack leader too as well. You've had this guy on special teams. Unleash this guy. I think Raheem needs to try to get the best out of this D line. Injuries with David Amiata and Grady Jarrett. You're going to get them back. Campbell, for him talk about his body and I want to see about next year. He was a big community guy. I would bring back Campbell with Raheem the way he's a players type of coach. I want to see them unleash Troy Anderson too as well. But if you can get a Spider or a Daniel Hunter in this free agency some way somehow, and the names are lit. The names are going down. It's crazy how much talent is available this offseason, from cornerback to safety, inside linebacker, outside linebacker, D-tackle. The list is crazy right now. That's what I wanted my quarterback list to be, but it's not that. So
I want to comment on what Eric Parker said. He said if that's the situation, why Ritter don't get the same excuse? Okay, you put Desmond Ritter on San Fran. What he doing?
With Kyle Shanahan?
10-10 still?
Maybe winning.
10.
And then look at it this way. And then I remember Eric Parker said that Justin Fields equals Desmond Ritter. I wouldn't say that because Fields got drafted in the first for a reason. He had the intangibles. All the Falcon fans wanted him. Instead, we got Pitts. All of them wanted him. The same reason everybody wanted him back then is the same reason he got drafted in the first round. That's, and we knew that Ritter had his own flaws and his limitations, and that's why he went to the third, and it was okay. So I wouldn't compare them two, but I ain't here advocating for Justice Fields. I mean, I guess I am, but they're 2 different players. They are.
I feel like the draft is loaded. Outside of
it's loaded in receiver too.
It's loaded at receiver. It's loaded.
It's loaded everywhere.
It's loaded at safety. It's loaded at line. I definitely
so with
want
$30 million in cap space, you have to be smart, boo man.
I want Javon Bullard. I'm not gonna lie. We need a safety.
Yeah, he's nice.
I think with the connections of this Jimmy Lake guy, this Buda Baker could be a good fit here too in Atlanta too as well. I think was he at the Pro Bowl?
Baker gonna cost some money.
DB coach.
Yeah, he was at the Pro Bowl. He was playing next to Jesse Bates.
That's him and Jesse was laughing. The pictures of him and Jesse over there joking and laughing. Yeah, recruit him. Recruit him. Go around the table for the free agency talk. Pastor Salas, Chase, Bodie. What else you guys got before we wrap it up here?
One more thing, Jack. One more thing.
Yeah, go ahead, Dan.
I want everybody to keep in mind that we had Super Bowl playoff worthy number of sacks. We finished the season with 42 without drafting a high pass rusher. I want everybody to keep that in mind. We need a quarterback. That should be primary. 42 will get you into the playoffs and possible Super Bowl.
43 would have got you into the playoffs. You missed a sack on Dobbs.
Oh.
Missed a sack on Kyle Murray too.
Oh, you missed a sack on Kyle Murray too. Oh, I forgot you missed a sack on Will Levis too. When he got
we should have had about 48, but
God
damn. I'm done. That's it.
That shit takes you back, don't it? That shit hurts.
That
shit hurts. Chase, free agency.
Pass rusher was a big one, man. We talked about it a lot here tonight. Pass rusher, get somebody dominant beside Grady with Anamata. We talked about it. You got your Zach Harrison over here, and you got your Ebiketie that really turned on in his second year with Ryan Nielsen. Hopefully he doesn't lose any progression from being out of his scheme, because his first year, we'll be honest, he was getting pressure, but not the sacks that we wanted. His second year with Ryan Nielsen was outstanding, those 6.5 sacks, coming off of his best year yet. So hope he can, continue progressing and be that edge rusher that we want him to be, that we traded up for in the second round. Would love to see another cornerback come in, possibly, somebody maybe with ties from Raheem Morris in the past. Jalen Ramsey sees the love. Tweeting about Raheem Morris, I don't know if that could be a decent price tag. I'm not sure what he'd want. If he wants too much, that's a definite no. But there's definitely cornerbacks that you can look at, and I think cornerback's still a weak point. Okuda's still kind of banged up last year, didn't see his full potential. So you never know if you keep Okuda or if you move on. So cornerback's a spot that I'd look at.
Bodie 3000, you here at the table right now. The panel is lit. The front line is what we call y'all here on One Time for the Fan. Bodie, real quick, free agency before we get ready to do our shout outs and wrap it up. What are you looking at? I know quarterbacks also a big thing too as well. How are you building up some of this roster, Bodie?
And we're gonna have to kick the tires on quarterbacks. Well, ain't gonna be much quarterbacks we kicking the tires on. It's really Kirk Cousins. That's it. Um, but we're gonna look at it. We're gonna assess the situation. I hate the media. The media put out all this shit. You never know. The man might be okay with 15 mil for a year. And that's okay with me. But there's that. Pass rushes. Like if we don't get pass rushes in the draft at the top of the draft or whatever, then we're gonna get it in free agency. We might throw the truck at Daniil Hunter. That might be an option. Um, I mean, we got a couple of holes to fill, but those are the most two important. And I think they're gonna really base their off season around getting that pass rusher and getting the quarterback for sure. So we'll see.
Mr. Salas, last to you about the free agency before we get to our shout outs. Shout out to Kenneth Callip here in the chat. He is a diehard Atlanta Falcon fan. And I just want to go ahead and say to him that Desmond Ridder was not mentioned once today.
I mean, I mentioned him about
for what?
Chase, I'm just being real. I'm not being rude or disrespectful because I rock with all the Falcon fans. I'm telling you what I heard today from Raheem. Desmond Ridder was not mentioned. I heard conversation and talk that sounded like
no. Did you hear Raheem? Raheem said we're going to get a guy.
Raheem, matter of fact, the way Raheem talk sound like he might even go play fucking quarterback. I'm just telling you what I heard.
Let me bless your ears for what Raheem said. Raheem said we're looking for let me see what elite processor at QB. I don't know if y'all remember hearing that. He said we're going out and look for elite processor.
So Matt Ryan's available?
Shit. You talking about you going back in the time machine? Because I don't want that noodle arm. Matt Ryan. It's not he's 38. He already got that
QB coach. I love him to death, man. I love to see him in Atlanta, but not with a jersey headset.
Yeah. Give him a damn clipboard. But no, that's the thing. Come on. He said elite processor. That means he wants somebody smart up here who's gonna be able to throw the ball at the feet when and not take sacks. He go, the little stuff that matters. Be able to throw it away, not take sacks. Not force the ball in the tight coverages. Like elite processor.
The division is wide open, and everybody's losing everything. We don't know what Mike Evans is going to be next year. You know what I'm saying? So it's like the division is wide open. We got to take it now. We're not taking that right now with who, but we need it right now. We like you. I remember you said this, Flip. We were supposed to be playing the Eagles in that first round.
I've seen.
Say it again.
We were supposed to be playing them Eagles. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
We were supposed to play them.
I was sitting in New Orleans watching the half of the Bucks Carolina game. Like, okay, it's 17-17 us. Do you think Carolina can score 10 points in 2 quarters? No, they can't. No. But I had hope that before the game started, and I was watching the first half of the Falcons Saints. I'm there. I'm like, okay, Bucks Saints. Okay, 0-0. Okay, we got a chance until halftime. Until we came out of halftime and Ridder threw the fucking pick. Then I said, fuck this. Time to go eat the crawfish at Touffet.
Shit.
Yeah. It is what it is. Mr. Salas, free agency for you, sir.
Free agency for me is, kind of similar to what everybody kind of said. It all hinges upon what our target is in the draft. If we're going to target a quarterback and get a quarterback, then I'd say a quality pass rusher that, again, I'm definitely hearing the development of talent that we have, but if we're still in that win now situation, if we can get someone there that's going to command those double teams, that's going to make offensive coordinators stay up at night trying to game plan and scheme against. Jack, you know how I always joke around. I like to say I joke around about going down the Rice Street and finding us a pass rusher when they
shit.
You know me. I say that joke all the time.
That man said going down the Rice Street.
And that's my thing. I want a quarterback mauler. I want someone that when this quarterback is under center, he's looking over there across the line, and he just scared out his wits and he calls an audible just because he think he on a blitz, right? I want that caliber of pass rusher here. I think we deserve that again. I think we owe that to Grady Jarrett, honestly speaking. I mean, the way this man has stood for this organization, for this franchise, for this fan base, I think we owe it to him to have someone of that level of talent playing alongside of him. No shade on what we already got. I definitely love to see what we have. I understand that the development of the talent and where it's gone. But if we're not able to get that, and then also, I mean, just based off the AJ Terrell situation, we do have to. I mean, it isn't like, you know, it ain't chicken soup that's leaving. So we have to think about replacing that, you know, and keeping that momentum going, right? Because at this point in time, our secondary is honestly one of our strengths as well. So we can't lose ground there in this whole building and momentum process. And that's, again, not to go not to divert away from free agents and going back to the first off, we talked about this coaching staff. That's where I want to. That's why I'm glad they have that extra T set where he'll be able to see all of those moving parts and all those pieces and be able to plan accordingly and bring in talent to, you know, pretty much hopefully have that next man up mentality.
Falcon fans, you hearing this live here on One Time for the Fan. The panel has been great. We did the panel the other night with Scott Karisic and Rakondo, a real deal Falcons fan, Chase and Phillip from Dirty Fanatics United. Tonight with Denatra Salas and Dan Burse and Boo Man Shouted. This is what we do when it comes to talking Falcons football. One thing to point out too as well, when people mention the pass rusher, looking at the Falcons roster, if you do decide to let go of Carter, keep a little money. If Campbell does go, if, you know, of course, Ellis and Landman, those are the situations you got to look at too as well on your defense. Richie Grant, Michael Abernathy, Mike Hughes, Jeff Okuda, even going over to Lakel London or some of your defensive line that was there to try to help out Kadarius Street, you're going to be missing about 18, 19, 20 bodies in a couple weeks. So you got to rebuild. So if Campbell, who had 6.5 sacks on our team, if he's out the door, and let's just say they let go of Carter, I mean, those are two guys that were very big when it came to your pass rush for your system. So I'm guessing you're going to have to go out there and find that replacement. And with a little bit of money that you do have, if you're not going to throw it at a quarterback, I know Terry's going to be smart with the cash too as well. Very smart with the cash. He got us out of cap hell. He's not going to put us back in it. That's why I'm looking like, why would we go get an expensive-ass quarterback when Terry just got us out of cap hell? I'm looking at the future here for the Falcons. So the roster will be built like how Raheem said it today with Terry when they kept looking at each other. They trust each other. They support each other. The decisions that were made. I saw a friendship between these two versus it looked like business between Arthur and Terry. You know, like, you're going to do your job. Yeah, I'm going to do my job. Okay, I'll see you in the morning. That type of shit versus Raheem and Terry's like, yo, man, we're going to go have some drinks, man. You're like, all right, man, come on, man. Look, you know what I'm saying? That type of shit. But when it gets down to business, what I mentioned earlier when the podcast first started, when Raheem talked about the team in Atlanta and home, his demeanor changed. The look on it. Go back and watch the podcast. You can see it like he was grinding his teeth, like he was on the beam for most of the people out here in Atlanta. You know how it was in Atlanta, man. Dan, you've been out there in them streets. So you know how it was. You know, for these Falcon fans, I was sitting there watching the press conference saying, what is Raheem going to bring to Atlanta? He mentioned accountability, leadership. He mentioned, you know, the locker room. He also talked about when the players believe in the coach, how much the coach believes in the team. That's how the players kind of feed off of that. I don't know if he mentioned that in the press conference with you all. I think it was in the private meeting with us. But hearing those type of words, hearing him talk about 2016, the Seahawks game, which was in the back room. He talked about the Seahawks game. He talked about the Packer game. He talked about the city, what was going on around it, how the tailgates was lit. Terry's like, he's real deal home. You know what I'm saying? He feels good. And he's not from Atlanta. He's from up north. But, man, this dude really feels humbled to be here in Atlanta. And some of the guys that he mentioned with Mike Tomlin and Shanahan and McVay and Mike LaFleur, he was really excited to learn from these guys, you know, and to be around these guys. And to bring that type of coaching formula here to Atlanta, he's still, you know, for him to mention Mike Shanahan, of all people, was one of the names that he mentioned, was like, man, this guy's going back, man. This guy's a coach. And he knows he can come over here and lead Atlanta down the road to a Super Bowl. Talked about redemption. Talked about, you know, rebuilding this team the right way. And, of course, taking the pieces that we have and getting over the hump. He mentioned getting over the hump, which is really big, too, as well. So, Falcon fans, this has been great when you bring people together to talk Falcons football in this positive way. I know fans in the chat enjoyed it. Going around the table here so we can get about Dan, Pastor Salas, Boo Man, Chase. Any shout outs?
Just shout out to the
whoever wants to give about first. Yeah, once the shout out done, we can go ahead and
shout out to
we'll release
the Falcons organization. Shout out to the Falcons organization, and shout out to everybody in the stream. Shout out to everybody that's on the on the board. Shout out to all of us. We came together tonight to talk about something we really wanted to talk about, and it's a new era in Atlanta. So just shout out to all the fans who believe and has that sense of fresh start coming into this season. So just shout out to every Atlanta Falcon fan, and shout out to Chase, man. You did a good job with my car.
I was waiting on it.
Was it the truck?
He said he was waiting on it.
Shit.
Chase was gonna look at the invoices like, I know this Boo Man's invoice.
I had to give him
Boo Man, I appreciate it, man. We'll go ahead and let you go, man. Thank you, brother.
Boo Man.
Who's up next? Chase or Pastor Salas, Dan?
I got you. Go ahead.
All right. Hey, shout out to everybody on the panel tonight. Jack, Bodie, Silas, Chase, Boo Man. Shout out to the chat. Live chat tonight, boy. Back to back. Shout out to the organization for getting things done in a rapid and important, and what Tip say, expeditiously in that fashion and fashion. Like, it's been like clockwork. Like, these coaches been coming in, like they've been handling stuff. So congrats everybody, shout out to everybody, and appreciate the fans, man.
Definitely.
Big shout out to Dan in the building. Thank you, brother. Of course, Bodie, Chase, remember the story about Dan last year? We're in the club in New Orleans. It's 4 a.m. Pastor Salas, we're getting ready to go home. We are tired, or go back to the hotel. We're tired, man. It's 4 a.m. in New Orleans. And we're looking around. Where the fuck is Dan? Next thing I know, all right, everybody, get your motherfucking hands up now. Everybody, get your hands up. Get your hands up. What the fuck is this? I said, Dan, what are you doing? Dan's on stage. He done grabbed the mic. He turning up in there. He lit, right? So check this out. Sunday after the game, we go eat dinner, right? We go, this man, we call Dan. Dan, you trying to go eat dinner? Nah, man, I got a gig, man. They booked me. They booked you?
Man.
What do you mean they booked you?
Found a job.
No feet don't eat, Dan. That's mama mentality, dog. Get it how you live, dog.
Hey, man, get that bread.
Big shout out to Dan. And then this year, he held it down coming out to New Orleans with us, held down helping host Razoo's. But what you did in Arizona for us with Pastor Troy performing, Dan, you had Arizona lit. There was a gospel convention across the street from us. And when they left out the gospel convention, Pastor Salas, I'm sorry, they heard Pastor Troy across the street like, you know what I'm saying? It was going off, and they're looking around like, what in the world is happening? Folks from Atlanta from out of town. That's what's happening over there. But we were lit, man. Dan, I thank you for everything, man. For real.
Thank y'all, man.
All right, Dan. Rise up. DJ Dan is out the building. Boo Man is gone. Pastor Salas.
Yeah, I mean, first and foremost, get it on out the way. I'm more of a hip hop pastor, so if I'd have heard Ready or help me run the plan, I might have, A-Town stomped my way over there too. That's just what I do. I'm the pastor that quotes Easy in his sermons. That's me.
I rock with it, man. My brother.
That's me. But shout out to the panel, yo. Shout out to One Time for the Fan, the entire collective. I mean, this is again. I'm definitely proud of what y'all are doing. I'm definitely feeling the vibe of what we had going on tonight. The synergies, they were all lit. Shout out to the Falcons organization. I mean, shout out to the camaraderie between just Terry and Coach Heem. I mean, that alone just speaks volumes and mounds to me. Shout out to the chat. Chat was lit. Chat was live. I saw some good stuff in the chat, and shout out to my boy Eric Parker for making me not feel alone on my because I felt like I was standing.
I'm right there with you, dude.
He was with you. Chase is with you.
On the Justin Fields.
Big shout out to Eric Parker. He texted me and said, "Can you get me on right now during the show?" I'm going to.
I needed some backup.
You should have got him on. We're gonna get him on the next panel. He's gonna be on the next panel.
Eric Parker. I'm trying to do the Eric Parker, DeMario Scott.
We need to be separated.
Yeah.
Hey,
yeah.
You're gonna be real sick when we get Justin Fields.
That's That's
I'm
tough.
just kidding. Hey, we got plenty of options though.
If he failed, that y'all giving everybody else, I'm cool. I'm sick of the Bulldogs grading curve. That's all.
We
I'm
all
saying.
saw the Mariota. We all saw the Mariota tweet. We all went through it.
Hey,
We had to sit a season with it.
it's all good.
Pastor, another quick question to you. Where are you at when it comes to where you at with the church and everything? Are you on the south side? Or are you over near the
south side? Yeah, definitely on the south side. Church is located in Griffin, Georgia. Of course, they have services every Sunday at 9:30. So all that means is all y'all good Falcons fans, y'all really don't have no excuse. Y'all can come, y'all can worship, and then y'all can make it to the Falcons game. Buy one, buy two, because I have you up there and I have you out there. So come by, come see me in Griffin.
Falcon fan, this is great when you have a diehard Falcon fan like Mr. Salas here talking Falcons football with us. I do appreciate you taking the time out of your day, sir, to come talk some Falcons football. So we got to get you back. Another panel somewhere along the draft.
Absolutely.
Matter of fact, it can draft. Are you good for draft? Because we're doing something big for draft.
I'm good for draft.
You good for draft?
I'm good for draft.
We're gonna do not day 2, day 3, day 1, because that's when it's most important.
Do it.
So let's be prepared for that.
Day one gonna be crazy. Day one gonna be so crazy.
Hey, I appreciate everything, sir. Holla at you, brother.
Yes, sir.
All right, Pastor.
Rise up, rise up. Chase from Dirty Fanatics United, Bodie 3000. I guess we can go ahead and end the show together, man, because we've done this too many times. Show's been great tonight, right? Chat, lit, Pam Johnson, Carrie, Manuel, Lisa Shepard. The list goes on, man.
I'm gonna say real quick one. I just feel like I love all the opinions. I love that Chase's. I love that Chase's iffy on Fields. I'm iffy on them too. I love that we iffy. I love that we can have these debates.
It's a full circle process. You're iffy
I love
on this guy. I'm iffy on this guy. Somebody told me Penix. Somebody said Williams.
And that's the beauty of it.
Yeah.
That's the beauty of it.
But guess what? Whoever's throwing touchdowns next year, get it high five, motherfucker. Yeah.
Hey, whoever it is,
that's what I'm talking about.
Whoever it is, if it's one of the rookies, whoever the hell it is, I'm with it. So
that's who I'm with. We went through Matt Ryan, and when Coach said today, Matt Ryan makes you feel comfortable when you were not comfortable. Man, that shit hit home like, Coach, you're right.
Yeah.
So we're bringing in a new guy. Falcon fans, you got PSLs, season ticket holders. Like, let's rock. Let's go win. Let's go win. How cool is this podcast tonight?
Let's let the record be known. I hope we get a rookie. One of the top 3 rookies.
Jaden Daniels.
That's my number one.
I know y'all list of 5, but Daniels is my first guy, bro.
Look, any of them, any 3 of them. I hope we can be aggressive, try to get the first pick. But if we can get any of those top 3 guys, I'd be happy to do whatever. And then after that, we have to see if we don't get those guys. We'll see what happens. We go with a vet. We still draft her. We don't know.
How do you think I feel, Chase? Chat. Manuel, you've been in here. Carrie, you've been in here. Ben Johnson, Pamela Johnson, Lisa Shepard, y'all been in here. Ben Markham, I'm sorry. I didn't put Jack Spade on the list for quarterbacks. That's how you know how serious I am. I don't need to put my skills to the front line for the Falcons. I feel like the Falcons are built right now to win without me. But if this shit gets ugly one more time, they're gonna have to go. Where my jersey at? They're gonna have to go see Jack Spade eventually.
Yeah,
I'm just letting you know. Falcon fan, this has been great.
That last show, that draft show was wild. That was a great show.
That was a good show.
Everybody was surprised.
Not only was it lit, not only was it live, we're going to do it again this year. I have some names that's going to be a part of the draft show. I'm already putting it out there right now. So Falcon fans, be ready for what's getting ready to happen. Chase, Bodie, any shout outs before we get up out of here?
Yeah, man. Shout out to the chat. Shout out to everybody that came in tonight. Shout out to Pastor, first time meeting him on the podcast. Shout out to him. DJ Dan coming through with his facts and statements about the team. Shout out to Raheem Morris, man, the new culture that he's bringing to Atlanta. It's about to be exciting football again in the A, man. We're about to have some games to remember, some playoff games, hopefully at the Benz. Have yet to make a playoff game at the Benz, so that would be dope to do this year. Shout out to Arthur Blank. Prayers up to Arthur Blank, man. I hope he gets to feeling better. We didn't talk about it at night. Arthur Blank not feeling too good. Talked about it at the press conference. Shout out to you, Bodie. Shout out to you, Jack. And yeah, man, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already.
Falcon fans, hit that like, hit that share, hit that subscribe. Is going down in a major way. Bodie, what you got?
Yeah, man. Shout out to the whole panel. Shout out to everybody, man. The opinions. I love the different opinions. I think it needs to be brought from every different angle, every different, every different look of, what could happen in the off season. What's gonna happen, I have no idea, but I do know that our brain trust is gonna be very aggressive and try to get the best guy in there at QB. It's the most important position in the game. So I love bouncing ideas off. I love everybody's different various views. So yeah, shout out to the chat. Shout out to the panel. Shout out to you, Jack.
What is
What?
Taylor saying? You said shout out to John creating more ball sacks from our defense. We love ball sacks.
What the?
Hey yo, the
Hey, I
chat is
wasn't
lit,
ready for
man.
that
I
one.
must say the chat is always
But
live. Yes, the draft show is gonna be crazy this year. People are already talking about it in the
yeah,
chat. Bodie, do
gonna
they
be
know we did the draft show? The first time we did it, we did 3.5 hours. The second day was 5 hours. The
yeah,
third day was 3.5 hours. So this year we're only doing day one,
yeah, we are.
and then we'll
And it was
cover on a quick podcast the following night.
and it was better. It was better the way we did it last year. Yeah. And did we do a free agent show?
We did not do a
I
free agent
can't
show.
know.
We just went over, how things were looking, but we did not do a free agent show.
Okay, but yeah, okay. So yeah, it's gonna be lit. Draft show is gonna be lit. So
We did the roster cut show before the Tuesday because we knew when the Tuesday was, so we knew from the 53 who's getting released and so forth. So we did talk about that too as well. So it is going to be live. It is going to be lit. DJ Dan, Boo Man shot it. Pastor Solace was in the building. Chase from Dirty Fanatics United. I want to go over quickly who we have on the podcast next is another pop-up show tomorrow night. One time for the fan in 95 North. Yes, right. Berto, your good friend Berto, up there in Rhode Island, is going to come over here on the podcast and talk Falcons football with us. I believe this is his third time on the podcast. So big shout out to Berto, who's going to be on the podcast tomorrow night. I did talk to Myles Garrett. We're going to be setting up that show too as well. And I got my good friend who's also going to be on the podcast. I don't know if you guys see this. Can y'all see that? Bo, do you see it?
yeah, I see it.
That's my good friend right there from First 48. That is Detective Lowe. You guys probably saw him on First 48. He's a movie star, if you can, I guess, or a TV star. But at the end of the day, he is a diehard Atlanta Falcon fan. I grew up with this brother right here, and he is going to be able to talk some Falcons football with us in the next coming weeks here. So Falcons fans, be prepared for the amount of special guests that we have coming to the podcast, because I'm telling you, we're trying to bring as much content as we can so you all can enjoy what we have here within the Falcons community. Bodie, this has been great. Chase, everybody in the chat, this has been great. I think this calls for acoustic cinematic. No matter of fact, no, we had Dan tonight. Let me play some dance music with Dan.
Yeah, do that.
DJ dance. Nah, that's that Vegas shit.
Don't
all right,
do
man.
That. Your neck moving like Quagmire.
That's that giggity giggity. Yeah, that's that giggity giggity.